Hey Youtubians, it's Tony here from We Try Anything. Channel likes try anything, so you don't have to. What we're going to have a look at today is a watch again from my collection of watches that I've got that I've gathered over the years. They're just random kind of watches, and this one is yet another Casio watch. Now this Casio watch here I've had for the past just under 10 years really, judging by the receipt which I've managed to keep in the box. And the watch that we're looking at today is the WS220-1AV, which when I pull it out the box, if you have one of these watches, you'll instantly recognize it as the Casio Tough Solar watch. Right then, so I've got a slightly better, more appropriate camera angle here. But as a lot of people may notice, this watch, it is the Tough Solar S220 watch, which is it's meant to be a solar paneled, solar powered recharging watch. Now this watch will have a battery within there, and what the idea of this battery is to do, this watch is to do, is that it's meant to be the actual dial or the watch face has an actual solar array built into the watch, which allows to charge the watch. Now I'll talk about a little bit more about that later on in the video, because it's something that I didn't find worked all the time, but I'll discuss that later in the video. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly just take it out of its packaging as such, and I'll talk about why it seems to be in kind of pristine condition, because I don't tend to kind of keep my watches perfect. I do actually wear them, but I'll talk about why this is in such good condition, and then I'll just quickly go through the, earlier on in the video I'll go through the features and stuff like that. So if I just get it out of the box, sorry, I've got it out of the box. So if I just talk about what you got in the box, I mean obviously within this box you've got there's the receipts of purchase, so it was purchased in 2012. And obviously the manual, and with these kind of watches you do get quite a thick manual, because obviously they do like to cover all kinds of bases depending on the language and the country in which this watch is sold in. So as you can see, there's quite a bit, there's quite a lot of things that you can do with this watch. Unfortunately I've never done with, and I'll discuss that why in a bit. So just moving the box out the way and the receipt, pop that back there. So just looking at the main event, and if I just take it out of its box, so as you can see with the actual watch, it is quite a good looking watch. It does look quite like the G-Shock line of watches. I mean, it's obviously a lot cheaper than the G-Shock, and I think I got this at the time in 2012 for £35. And the reason why I got it was for the Tough Solar part of it, being meant to be a tough watch, and it's solar recharging. Now this comes with a 50mm, so it says on the website, a 50mm width case diameter, which is made out of resin, that being the bezel, and it is like a static bezel. And the actual other materials, obviously it's a resin strap, it's got what would be a black metal buckle, and that's it really. I mean, in terms of kind of its what powers the actual time or the movement, it is known as Japanese quartz. It is the same movement that you probably find in a lot of Casio watches going on from, like the kind of, the more affordable range of Casio watches. So just taking it off its stand, and as you can see here, it's quite an attractive watch. The only thing I would prefer is a lot bigger display, but I mean, it is a kind of just a very minor critique on my part. And as you can see, I mean, obviously I have scratched it a little here, because it is meant to have a mineral glass dial to it, but I don't know, because as I say, it's not sapphire obviously, because that wouldn't scratch as easy as this, but it has been scratched in the past. Talking about the watch face, so obviously it's got an LCD crystal display. You've got your date just listed under there, which had been 2021, the 26th of the 4th, or April as it were. Now obviously there's your time that listed there with the P for PM, and obviously the day, it did displaying the day. And up here to the top left you've got your H and I believe M and L. Now what they are is it's the state of charge within the watch. So obviously I'm guessing the H would be high, medium and low really. And obviously here you have a PS, and you also have a little thing which flashes to say it's charging. Now That tends to happen for me in direct sunlight, and I'll talk about that later on. But just moving on, so the actual modes you can go through the stopwatch, in which it's obviously it'll, you know, it's got a fair amount of stopwatches with lap timers and stuff like that, and you know, it's a pretty standard kind of affair, really. Now, I believe it does have some memory for the stopwatch where you can kind of save a fair few amounts of times. So, you know, I mean, here it's got 3 lap times that I've saved here, as it were. So it's not you know, it might be good for someone who does running and stuff like that. The next one is obviously the amount of things. It's got like an area where it can record certain things, like the lap split times and stuff like that. But again, you know, it's not something I tend to use really on this watch. The other thing as well, it's got a countdown timer, so it'll go from 60 seconds down, and obviously it's still featuring the time underneath. I believe it's the time underneath. This one here, it has world time. Now, obviously, you can change that for different world zones or world time zones within the world, as it were. So like you got Rio, I'm not sure what half of these are, but New York City, obviously China, I'm guessing, Mexico, Denver, would it be? I don't know. Yemen, I'm guessing that would be Los Angeles, because the airport's LAX, and stuff like that, really. So you've got a world timer there, so if obviously you kind of travel a lot and you go into different world time zones and stuff, this might be a handy feature. Obviously, you got an alarm, which I believe from reading, it's got up to 5 different alarms that you can set on this watch. And back to the time. Now, you can adjust the times and stuff like that by just keeping your finger down on the adjust. And also, you've got a light function which uses an LED within the watch to kind of light up the, as it were, the watch face. Now, as you can see on here, I am kind of speeding through what this watch has, and it comes to the reason why I don't use it really, and why it's in quite good condition. And the reason being is this watch has never held its charge for me. Now, I don't know if it's a watch that, if it's down to the battery, or if it's down to the way I wear watches. I tend to wear watches kind of covered up, really, and it's only really when it becomes to the summer months that, you know, I you know, walk around wearing a t-shirt and stuff like that, depending on the heat and the weather. That's when it kind of gets its charge. Now, from looking at some of the other reviews of what people have said, people tend to get 2 to 3 months worth of charge out of this watch, even if it was stored in like a drawer and stuff like that. And I'll be honest with you, I've never got it out of this watch ever. And I don't know, again, if I've had it's had a dodgy battery in that, or it could be user error, which sometimes this tends to be. It's just something that's never really worked out for me. But what I'll do, I'll just quickly show it on the arm, so you can see how it looks. So if I just undo the buckle like such, and this is a resin strap as well. You know, these do tend to go on a lot of Casio watches, and obviously, as you can see, because I've never really worn it since I wore it for a couple of months, and it just kept breaking, or well, not breaking, but it just kept not working properly as such. So if I just pop that on there, which is easily done, as is what is usual with Casios, and pop it through just like that, and as you can see, it's got quite a nice, it looks quite nice in the way, you know, it sits on your wrist and stuff like that, you know, because it's quite, I do like my watches with a kind of a big case to them and a big display, but, you know, it's quite a nice looking watch when it's on the wrist. But, you know, like, it fits nice. I probably could just doing it one more up there. Yep. And it is a secure fitting as such. But as I say, the main reason why it is in good nick, and it hasn't really had its you know, it hasn't really been used as much, and especially with the, you know, would be good for people who do swimming and stuff like that, because it has 100 meters you know, like water resistance and such, is just due to the fact that whenever I've used it, so if I start going through, you know, like start doing stuff, and it's probably going to prove me wrong here, or start using the light and stuff like that, again, typically for this, it's proven me totally wrong. That starts to flash, and then before I know it, the time starts to disappear and reappear, and then disappear and then reappear, and then before I know it, the watch goes off. Now, I have left this for this review sitting in a windowsill on a window for the past month, just to get as good a charge as I can for this video. And while I am kind of you know, talking it down, it is a nice looking watch, and it's a watch that I would, you know, enjoy wearing as such, or would enjoy wearing when I did buy it. But unfortunately, after, you know, like the couple of months I did wear it, it just kept dying out. The time kept kept resetting, the date kept resetting, and obviously that was due to the fact that the battery kept dying on it. Now, as I say, might be user error, or it might be just the way the battery is, and the battery's probably never been a good battery. I don't know, but I have tried to wear it recently and tried to make sure, you know, it was slightly uncovered and getting full charge, and I wore it for a day, and then again, you know, like the that kept flashing off and on, and then it just kept disappearing really, and you know, the time kept resetting, and you know, it's kind of really useless, to be fair. But I have seen a lot of reviews where people have loved these watches and how they work and how they look and how they sit on the wrist. And there is one person I have seen who has done a review on YouTube where he's had it for 10 years and he's used it in all forms of kind of heavy duty work environments, and it's never let him down. So again, I may have had a bad batch, or, you know, as I say one more time, it might be user error. But I can understand why these are quite tough. I mean, other than the usual kind of Casio, you know, with these sort of watches that it never lets you put different straps on, or if the strap went, you're kind of left with just a watch face really. You know, I can see how they're quite tough. You know, it's kind of a watch that it's got nothing really that can kind of snap or break, except for the strap, obviously. And that, you know, it does scratch, but as you can hear, that is mineral. So, you know, other than that, I mean, they are kind of beta watches as such, but I don't know, I just never got on with it, and it's something, unfortunately, you know, it will probably end up back in a drawer somewhere, just kind of never featuring its time, which is such a shame really, because it is quite a nice little timepiece, and it does kind of do the job really. But just while I've got some power left, because obviously that's not flashing anymore, you can quickly adjust things by just keeping your finger on the adjust button. Let me just see if I can just do it here. Yeah, there you go. And then you can just fly through the adjustments, turn things off, and 24 hours, 12 hours, stuff like that, and just change the time and stuff like that. So, you know, it's fairly easy to do. You know, obviously you can turn the mute, you know, like the noise on for key presses, or sorry, button presses, which are, you know, you got your adjust, start stop mode, and lap time, start stop mode, and adjust here. And you know, it's just fairly easy to use really. But as I say, you know, the only one failing being the main thing, which is it's never really charged for me or properly. So, you know, again, it's proven me wrong, but I have got lights shining on it, as you can see in the reflection here, one there. I've got the main window light here, and obviously got a light off to the left. So, you know, it's probably getting its charge from that. But, you know, I just end the review there really. So, nice watch, looks good, has a few features, but it's just a shame about the actual charging and the battery issue that I've had with this watch. So, well, I hope you liked the video. If you have, then please give it a quick thumbs up. This watch you could probably get off eBay used. I did look on Amazon for new ones, and the nearest new one you can get, or what would be said as new, is about £90. So I wouldn't pay that for this. But you could probably get a used one on eBay, which hopefully would have either a new battery in there for, you know, to take the charge or something like that. But, you know, make sure that it does kind of charge and stay in the wrist, or, you know, it doesn't die after a couple of, you know, like a couple of hours of use. So, you know, if you are going to get one, just make sure it is charging and keeps its battery life. But as I say, if you like the video, then give it a cheeky like. If you don't, then obviously there's that other button there, but I hope you don't press it. If you want to see more reviews from the We Try Anything channel, then please click on the old subscribe button below. It always helps the actual channel grow bigger and stuff like that. And there will be plenty more reviews coming soon, with cars, lights, and all sorts of paraphernalia, microphones and what have you. We do try and review different things for the channel, because it, you know, it might be something you're looking to buy, and then, you know, I'll give you my fair opinion of it. So I hope you liked the video, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye.